the main gallery of Blue Ridge Art Space, we are featuring the work of Wade Evans, and this show is called Family, Friends, and Other Strangers. And this is Wade Evans, and Wade, I'm assuming that your family is in some of these pictures, that there are friends and there are people you don't know. Is that right?
That about covers it, yes. I have friends, some of these are really old pictures that I painted, and I've never exhibited these pictures before, but some of them I've done over 30 years ago that I've just kept for myself, but I thought now might be the time to exhibit them and get some idea of what people think.
Now Wade, his career was as a banker, apparently because his family told him he had to get a real job because being an artist wasn't a real job.
That's right.
So you were a creative banker, which we'd all like to have creative bankers in our favor.
Well, they gave us a test at work to find out who was creative,
Right.
who was sustainers, or whatever you call them, groupings of people. And out of my whole division that was at this thing, I was the only creative one in the group. If
I'm
that
not
makes any
surprised,
sense.
actually. That doesn't surprise me a bit.
The rest of them were maintainers, I guess you could.
I started saying, I don't meet many painters that were bankers. So you are one of a kind as far as I know.
Anyway, that's
So you've been painting for all these years, and let's start over here behind your shoulder. And you can tell us about your painting and how you got to these pictures.
okay. This is my mother-in-law, my wife's mother, and when she was visiting us some years ago, I'd snapped a picture of her, and that was the inspiration for this painting here. And I just really like the picture because it shows her the way she really is, or was. Interestingly enough, I have another picture of my wife and her mother, and I show it to friends and they say, "That's nice, who's the baby?" And I have to point out to them, the baby is my wife, because this was just so long ago. Anyway, that's my mother-in-law.
And to clarify, you paint in oils.
Mostly in oils.
So
I got a
these are
couple
oil
of watercolors
paintings.
here.
Right. And to be fair, you downsized not long ago
Yes, we did.
and moved out of a house with lots of rooms and lots of places to put stuff.
Right.
And you moved into a 2-bedroom apartment at Appalachian Bryan, so you have to find a place to put stuff. And
That's
so
right.
one of the things he wants to do is to find homes for many of these paintings. So
That's
if
right.
some of these speak to you, this is a great opportunity to own one of these. Now this one's not for sale.
Right.
But,
Some-
okay, the next one.
Several of them are not for
Okay,
sale. but
so you
others
need to
are.
tell people where they are. So yeah,
Only it's not for sale,
yeah.
as we call her. This is a picture of my father, and I painted this probably 30 years ago. And it was inspired by this picture, so you can tell there's not much difference there in it. It's in oil, and it's not for sale.
It's pretty cool.
This is a painting of my youngest grandson. And this was at the wedding of his big brother. And I snapped it. It was one of those random shots that I snapped the picture, and he didn't know it. But this is where that painting came from, was out of this picture at the wedding ceremony.
Deep in thought.
These are a couple of cousins, but for the life of me, I don't know who they are. This, Eden, I might say, is not for sale, but my cousins are. It came from a picture that I took, and I couldn't find the original picture in it, but I think they're two sisters.
This is a unique one.
This one, it's in oil. It's a picture of my grandson in Colorado, up in the mountains, and I call it the Sun Worshipper. He's it's called it perfect position like that, and it's an oil, and I really like that picture, and I tried to get as much as I could out of that. And it is for sale for $149. This one, I already have an offer from a cousin on this
So
one.
we should mark that one sold.
He is was an Uncle Olin, as we call him. He was my grandmother's brother. My grandfather tolerated him because my grandmother wanted him to provide a place for him to live. I don't think he ever worked very much in his lifetime, but he seemed to always be there when I was visiting. And this is the original picture of Uncle Olin.
All right.
And this guy looks mean, but this is Warren. He was actually a college roommate of mine at the time. He rode a motorcycle, and some people would think that he was a biker or something, but here's the original picture I took of him.
He doesn't look near as mean in the photo. You added to that one.
Well, what can I say? You'll see this in a minute, but this is a practice run on a painting that I have called Drinking Buddies, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But I wanted to see how it worked out. This person is was a friend of mine. He's since deceased, but he was a friend.
So backing up, you're selling your
this
college
is for
roommate
sale.
for $59.
Right.
And you're selling the Drinking Buddies for $75,
study.
the study.
And this is another cousin, don't know which one. And it's in oil, and it's for sale for $59. This was the original picture, but I got it reversed when I printed it because I scanned it in from
Slide.
yeah. All right, this one I call the Professor. This looks like he ought to be a professor, I guess. I was inspired by this picture here. I just caught this old gentleman sitting on a bench near the beach down in Florida, and I thought it would make a nice picture. He said that became the Professor. This one was one of the earlier paintings that I did, and I call it Contemplation. And it was inspired by this picture, which I took of an old gentleman sitting on the bench in the sidewalk in Denver, Colorado. And I did the landscape and then just sort of stuck him in there. And if you look real close, there's a squirrel right here. And it looks like the squirrel is fussing at him for being in his territory. And he said, "Get out." This is a bigger view of the Drinking Buddies that I did. And the tragic thing about this is, on his 35th birthday, he died of acute alcohol poisoning, celebrating his birthday. And I thought, in a way, this was an appropriate picture that I had taken of him. I could paint him. These are my 3 grandsons. They're all grown now. This one will soon turn 30 if he hasn't already, and he's about 23. And I took that from this picture. It was the inspiration for it. I just thought it was nice. I tried to get it in here, but the littlest one seemed to look like a devilish child in this picture, and I tried my best to get that in that picture. This is in oil. I did this a long time ago as well. This is my brother, who's pushing 70 now, and this is another cousin. It's for sale. Big Brother's not, but the Drinking Buddies is for sale. This one is of a friend, son. He lives in Colorado, and he's a cook or chef at a local restaurant just outside Colorado Springs. And this was the original picture, and I just thought that would be real nice, and back with a black background. It's not for sale. This comes from a picture that I took in Germany of an old couple sitting beside the river, and I call it Sweethearts. It's in oil. And I like the picture. A lot of people say, "Oh, is that you and your wife?" And I say, "No, it's just an old couple." And that I never even talked to. I just, I pulled the camera up and snapped the picture right away. But I think it's real nice. Some people thought it was my wife and I, and we always have to say, no, we're both sort of white-haired, and you can't tell. This is an interesting one here. This was originally done in watercolor, and I didn't want to spend the money to have it framed with matting and glass and everything, so I took the watercolor paper and glued it using a paste that you can get at the local art store on a wooden backing, and framed it. And then I had to seal it first with a sealer, and then I put a couple of coats of water-based varnish on it to give it that little sheen.
It's for sale for how much?
It's for sale for $95.
Now, what about the old couple, are they for sale?
Yes. $195.
$195. All right.
This was a picture that I took, again, in my wife's hometown in Germany. I just saw these kids out, and they were picking fruit from the tree, but the fruit didn't show up very well, so I just stuck a kite in the tree to say, trying to get a stuck kite out of a tree. But I just liked it, and so that's how that came about. And I've got two versions of this painting. One was a larger version that I painted and gave to my grandson, because he's that person in this picture right here, and I call it Block That Shot. It's a perfect block of any basketball shot when he was a senior in high school. And I just liked it, and I gave it a different background than what's in his painting.
And are you selling that?
I'm sorry?
Is that for sale?
Of $195.
$195.
This one is another cousin, I knew not who, but it came from a photo I took of him many years ago. And it inspired this picture, sort of looking out the window, trying to find if it's gonna snow and he miss school or whatever. It's also for sale, $149. This is another one of those watercolors that I have glued to a backboard. And that was inspired by a picture that I clipped out of a newspaper probably 30 or 40 years ago. I thought that would make a nice painting as well. And we got one more here, well, two more. And this is I call class reunion. On my 50th high school class reunion, these were all together, and I said, let me take your picture. And that's where this came from. They were all buddies, friends of mine as well, and I just liked that, and so I just painted. That was one of the first ones I did after I retired. Like it was in 2012 when I did that, and it's for sale for $149. I've got one more painting, and I think I'll have to take it off to Disney World. Many years ago, I was riding a ferry across a lake that ended up at a hotel, and I saw this three people on the ferry, and one of them had the flag wrapped around him, and that was during our sort of hippie days, I guess you'd say, and they reminded me of some hippies at the time, and I've titled this "Protected by the Flag," and that was the inspiration for it. And I might add that most of the frames in all of these pictures were either made by me or were reused from some old pictures that are repurposed, I guess you would say today, and fitted them to the pictures that I have. This one is for sale. It's $295.
We're really happy to have Wade and his work here in our gallery, in the main gallery this month. He has exhibited with us before, but this is the first time he's done this entire show, an entire show with photographic images of people that he has then converted into very good paintings that kind of are, as you and I were just saying, kind of an expressionism.
It's a cross between expressionism and impressionism.
Right.
And what I might also point out, if you look at the portrait of my father and look at later pictures, I was a lot looser many years ago in my painting when I painted him than I tend to be now. And I'd like to get back to a looser style.
The evolution of your style.
Yes, it is.
It's really cool getting to know an artist and knowing what they have behind the pieces that they're working on, and maybe some things about how they perceive their work. If you'd like an opportunity to talk to Wade in person, all you gotta do is let us know, and we will arrange for you to have a private session in the gallery to talk to Wade about his work. And I hope that you will come by and see it in person. That's by far the best experience. And we're open Wednesday through Saturday from 11:30 to 5:30. Please come and join us.
Thanks for watching.